Welcome to the Bayt Al Ghadeer channel. We pray that you are in the best of health and iman. Continuing our refutations of Brother Hajji and his videos mocking the belief of the Shias with regards to Wilayah, this particular series that we're dealing with at the moment. I'm joined by Brother 𝗧𝗨𝗥𝗓𝗦𝗖𝗥𝗓𝗏 and by Brother Hassan. Brothers, thank you for joining us today. Let's go straight into it. The topic, Brother Hajji produced 2 videos dealing with water, and he used that as a form of mockery, that water and the rejection of Wilayah. Let's first of all look at those 2 videos.
So let's get into this. This is 𝗬𝗢𝗓𝗦𝗖𝗥𝗓𝗦𝗔𝗧𝗑 it's the 4 books of the Shia, and this is 𝗦𝗨𝗣𝗣𝗢𝗥𝗓𝗧. So it's one of the kafis, as I explained before, 3 kafis: usul, furu', and rawda. Now, the hadith goes as follows. Okay, listen to this. لما كان في أيام الطوفان داعى المياه كلها. So Nuh alayhi salam was obviously in the ship. It doesn't say, but obviously it makes sense. It was on the ship and there was a storm. Okay, and he called all the waters. Why would Nuh alayhi salam call the waters? Rawafidism for you. All of the waters. فأجابته إلا ماء الكبريت والماء المر. That he called for all the waters except the sulfur water, sulfur. So these 2 waters are very, very rebellious and naughty. So what did Abi Abdullah say? Listen to this. فَلَعَنَهُمَا. Cursed be those 2 waters. Let me get this straight. He called all the waters, but the sulfur water and the bitter water did not respond. So Abi Abdullah said, cursed be on those 2 waters. فَلَعَنَهُمَا. And let's go to the last hadith in this chapter. So there's a hadith in between, which I'm gonna keep a part 2. So this is the same hadith. Abi Abdullah said, كان أبي يكره أن يتداوى بالماء المر وبماء الكبريت. That my father disliked taking bitter water and sulfur water. So Imam Jafar saying that his father Imam Baqir disliked taking bitter and sulfur water. Why? وكان يقول, and he used to say, إن نوحا, indeed Noah, لما كان الطوفان, that when there was a storm, داعى المياه, and he called on the waters, and all the waters accepted the invitation. إلا ماء المر وماء الكبريت فداعى عليهما فلعنهما. It's the same narration. So basically Imam Baqir also cursed the sulfur and the bitter water, and Imam Abi Abdullah also cursed the bitter and sulfur water. So let's get to this narration. وفي رواية حمدان بن سليمان يا أبا سعيد تأتي ماء ينكر ولايتنا في كل يوم 3 مرات. Hassan and Hussein رضي الله عنهما was speaking to Abu Sa'id, and they said to him, oh Abu Sa'id, water came and he refused the Wilayah. He refused the Wilayah every day 3 times. The water refused the Wilayah. This is a very, very naughty water that refused the Wilayah to who? To Sayyida Shabab Ahl al-Jannah, the ones that are the leaders of the heaven, the youth in heaven. SubhanAllah, this water, you know what? Naughty. Imam Hassan and Hussein radiallahu anhuma said to Abu Sa'id, Inna Allah Azza wa Jal. So indeed Allah Azza wa Jal Arada walayatana ala miyahi, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala presented the wilayah to all the waters.
As you can see, so there's 2 videos that we presented here, one dealing with the Wilayah, the rejection of Wilayah, but one isn't. He's tried to in some way connect them, but that actually deals with water in general, a type of water being cursed. He's tried to sort of collate them together as the one, but that isn't the case. And inshallah ta'ala, we shall, in this program, look at both of these narrations. We'll look at them. There's 3 in total. We'll look at them and analyze them accordingly. So, 𝗧𝗨𝗥𝗓𝗦𝗖𝗥𝗓𝗦𝗔𝗧𝗜𝗢𝗢𝗎
Assalamu alaikum viewers, thank you very much for joining us today in this continuation of the refutation against Muhammad named Safdar. So as you can see, all 3 traditions appear under the same chapter heading, and it was to do with disliked water. The first hadith, a number of people have narrated from Sahil ibn Ziyad, from Ibn Mahbub, from Abdullah ibn Sinan, who said Abu Abdullah, meaning Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam, has said, Nuh alayhi salam in the days of the flood called all the waters, and they all replied except the water of the sulfur and the bitter water, which then he condemned. So according to his tradition, Hazrat Nuh alayhi salam, during the flood, when it occurred, when he obviously embarked the ark, the ship, he supplicated for all the waters to come, and certain water refrained and it stood back, it stayed back. So this is the tradition which is very general. There's no mention of Wilayah in this tradition. And since Muhammad named Safdar has an issue with certain waters being cursed, then what does he have to say about the Dead Sea? We've not dealt with authenticity yet. So the next tradition, I'm not going to go through the whole chain, but we will discuss the chain of transmission on both of these traditions shortly. So I'm just going to skip to the main part, which is in red. And this tradition is narrated from Imam Hassan and Imam Hussain alayhi salam. Well, the narrator has narrated it. Al-Tamimi has narrated it, that he said that he was once passing Imam Hassan and Imam Hussain alayhi salam. So the red part says, they said, when Allah the Most High was angered with the people of Nuh alayhi salam, he opened the sky with pouring water, and he sent revelation to the earth. But certain fountains disobeyed. He then condemned them and turned them into salty and bitter ones, meaning salty water and sweet water. In the hadith from Hamdan ibn Sulaiman, it is said that they said, "O Abu Sa'id, you come to something which rejects our divine authority 3 times a day. Allah the Most Majestic, the Most Glorious, presents our divine authority before the waters, and that which accepts it becomes sweet and fine. But what rejects it, Allah the Most Majestic, the Most Glorious, makes it bitter and salty and burning." So this is the second tradition. So this talks now more in terms of how there was sweet water and salty water, and this was all down to when the Wilayah was presented to the whole entire creation. This is something which we covered in our previous episode as well. The last tradition, again, as you can see, one of the narrators, Muhammad ibn Sinan. This hadith is recorded in 𝗧𝗨𝗥𝗓𝗦𝗢 volume 6, page number 243, hadith number 224. This is the particular traditions that Muhammad named Safdar presented. Now we're going to go to the authenticity of these traditions. So as you can see, there are 3 groups of traditions. The first group are from the companions of 𝗧𝗨𝗥𝗓𝗧 ibn Ziyad, from Ibn Mahbub, from Abdullah ibn Sinan, from Imam Ja'far Sadiq. The second group of traditions comes from Muhammad ibn Yahya, from Hamdan ibn Sulaiman al-Nishapuri, or Muhammad ibn Yahya from Zakaria, or a group of companions from Ahmad ibn Abdullah, from his father. All of them had narrated it from Muhammad ibn Sinan. So all these traditions go back to Muhammad ibn Sinan, from Abu Jarud, from Abu Sa'id al-Tamimi, and then the tradition continues. Now the third group of companions, or the third tradition, it goes from Sahil ibn Ziyad, from Muhammad ibn Sinan, from someone. So someone who we don't know at this point. In reference to these 3 traditions, Allama Majlisi has first said, the first tradition, Allama Majlisi has said it's weak. The second tradition, Allama Majlisi has once again said this tradition is weak. And the last part that talks about Wilayah is disconnected, is mursal. And the last group of traditions, the hadith is disconnected to unknown person. So all 3 traditions, according to our scholars, according to Allama Majlisi in his book Bayat Al Ghadeer, volume 22, page number 241, 242, these hadith are weak. All 3 traditions are weak. And there is for the viewers to go back and have a look at themselves, and they can always verify these references. Now, additional to this, I just want to mention something very quickly, and that was in reference to Muhammad ibn Sinan, and the famous 12th scholar Sheikh Najashi, in his book Rijal Najashi, page number 328, verse number 888, said about Muhammad ibn Sinan, he's a very weak narrator that shouldn't be relied upon when he's the only one quoting the narration. Again, Sheikh Najashi, he says, Sahil ibn Ziyad is weak in hadith, and he must not be relied upon. And this is Rijal Najashi, page number 185, verse number 490. So as you can see, these groups of traditions that Bro Hajji presented, all three of these traditions are weak. We don't consider them to be authentic at all.
So thank you, Sayyid Ali, for that. So bottom line is there are three narrations that 𝗦𝗨𝗕𝗦𝗖𝗥𝗓𝗧 presented, and surprise, surprise, all three are weak. So he's just continuing as is his norm, just bringing out any narration he can find. Obviously, he's invested in those books, so he needs to make sure that his investment isn't wasted. But the question does arise, and there was part of his comedy that he tries to bring to his audience, and obviously the Chuckle Brother cameraman finds very amusing, is when we produce these narrations, when they are in our text, and he reads them out, and it's a source of considerable pleasure and amusement to the cameraman and Brother Hajji. The question is, now we ourselves believe that the covenant was taken by everything, okay? Everything, all creation had a covenant, and that's what Hajji seems to have indigestion over. Not only is his indigestion of the Wilayah of Amir al-Mu'mineen, that's evident, hence this shows that the programming that he did, but it's also this concept, he almost thinks it beggars belief to believe that an inanimate object can in some way respond or have feelings or obey. You just cannot find that palatable in any way, shape or form. But the problem is, Brother Hajji, as always, he likes to mock the Shias and not look what's in his own books. Some of these traditions we have actually previously mentioned, but the fact of the matter is inanimate objects can respond, understand commands. For example, we've got the narration in Bukhari, 𝗦𝗨𝗣𝗣𝗢𝗥𝗧, where Rasulullah ﷺ says, and the narration is in volume 5, page 249, hadith number 4083. Uhud is a mountain that loves us and is loved by us. The Prophet, this is narrated by Anas, the Prophet said, peace be upon him, he said, this is a mountain that loves us and is loved by us, is loved. Now it's reciprocal. So can a mountain have feelings? I'm sure if this was in a Shia book, that cameraman would be rolling all over the place. But the fact of the matter is, here it's very evident that love is reciprocal. In the same way Rasulullah ﷺ loves the mountain loves them. So the Uhud is a mountain that is loved, that loves us and is loved by us. So remember that, is loved by us. That's the important part. And there's also a narration in Bukhari as well from Abu Hurairah. He says, the last hour will not come unless the Muslims fight against the Jews, and the Muslims would kill them until the Jews would hide themselves behind a stone or a tree, and a stone or a tree would say, Muslim, or the servant of Allah, there is a Jew behind me, come and kill him. But the tree 𝗧𝗦𝗧𝗧𝗧 would not say, for it is the tree of the Jews. So this is so you've got, this is an interesting narration in Sahih Bukhari, volume 4, page 479. So a tree has feelings, it understands, it speaks, and it's got a loyalty affiliation. We've got one which is linked to Jews, which keeps quiet when Jews are being hunted down, whereas the other ones, obviously they've got Muslim affiliation. They're summoning the Muslims to assist, and they're giving the hiding location of where Jews are. So they also have feelings and understanding. Ibn Hajar Asqalani has said in Fath al-Bari fi Sharh Sahih Bukhari, famous commentary of Sahih Bukhari in volume 6, page 610. In this hadith, the signs of the hour appear, including the talking of the trees. It apparently appears from the hadith that this will happen. However, it could be metaphorical to mean that hiding will not benefit them. So the first opinion is stronger. Take note, the metaphorical one. Tirmidhi has got a Hassan narration in volume 2, page 358. Ibn Abbas narrates, the Messenger of Allah ﷺ said about the black stone, by Allah, Allah will raise it on the day of resurrection with two eyes by which it sees and a tongue that it speaks with, testifying to have attached it in truth. So the Kaaba will essentially take on human type characteristics. So again, a stone, an inanimate object, suddenly has human type characteristics. And so, something which is quite amusing to Brother Hajji. But here we go. Sahih Bukhari, volume 1, page 199 to 200. Now listen to this narration. The Prophet said, the people of Bani Israel used to take a bath naked, looking at each other. The Prophet Moses used to take a bath alone. They said, by Allah, nothing prevents Moses from taking a bath except that he has a scrotal hernia. So once Moses went to take bath and put his clothes over a stone. And then the stone ran away with his clothes. Moses followed that stone, saying, "My clothes, O stone, my clothes." Till the people of Bani Israel saw him and said, "By Allah, Moses has got no defect in his body." Moses took his clothes and began to beat the stone. Abu Hurairah said, "By Allah, there are still 6 or 7 marks present on the stone from that excessive beating." Now, the important thing here is a stone runs away with the clothes. So it's got this ability to move, to run. Okay? That's in Sahih Bukhari. So, something to ponder over. Brother Abu Hassan, over to you.
Thank you, Brother Sayyid Ali and Sayyid Hassan. It seems, as we've previously mentioned, that in regards to Bro Hajji, only seems like his issue is with the virtues, the miracles, if they're connected to Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salam. So here we have Al-Qastalani. He said, when the battle of the trench took place during the night, the Saba wind came to the north one and said, "That come with us so we can help Allah and His Messenger." The north wind replied, "The free women don't wander at nighttime," i.e. rejected their request. Allah Azza wa Jal got angry on the northern wind, on the northern one because of it, and made it ineffective, and said unto the kuffar, the Saba wind, that caused the destruction. So as we can see here, the Saba wind, which is like the easterly wind, the Saba wind, which is like the easterly, is talking to the northern one. And the narrators are Sahih of the Sahih Bukhari and Muslim, and this is volume 3, page 55. So according to his own standards, this should be really funny. And here we have Al-Haythami as well, in Majma' al-Zawaid, volume 6, page 59 to 60, also stating as well that the narrators are the narrators of the Sahih, which are Bukhari and Muslim, and it's the same narration there. And Ibn Abi Dunya quoted in Al-Matar wal-Ra'ad, and the researcher of the book, Tariq al-Amudi, termed the chain to be Sahih as well. So there we go. The winds talking to each other, deciding that they don't want to support Allah and His Messenger, and the other one supporting Allah and His Messenger. Do you find this funny as well?
Well, really, I mean, the conclusion is, Brother Hajji, if you're going to try and offer answers to these narrations, you know, I'm sure we can answer the narration in Al-Kafi in the same way. So if you can rush to defend these narrations, we'll do likewise. But I don't want Hajji to feel left out. You know that we always present gifts because he's so fond of throwing our narrations at us, albeit weak ones. Let's provide a little gift for him. How about a narration from, since he's a Deobandi, let's present a narration from one of his Deobandi texts and evidencing the greatness of Maulana Ashraf Ali Thanvi Sahib.
Thank you very much, Sayyid Hassan Bukhari. It's a bit funny because I think Hajji was making, Muhammad Naim Safdar was making a comment about not going to the sea because most of the sea water is salty. But according to the tradition of the tradition that Abu Hassan presented, Hajji shouldn't even be going outside and avoiding the wind at all costs. But since the topic is about water, and it's about sweet and salty water, let's now present a tradition from 𝗙𝗢𝗧𝗜𝗙𝗎𝗧𝗜𝗢𝗙, Volume 1, page number 113, by 𝗦𝗨𝗣𝗍𝗥 Ilahi. And he says, regarding the water that's washed from Thanvi's feet, meaning Ashraf Ali Thanvi, His Excellence has reached such a limit that by Allah, by washing the feet of Ashraf Ali Thanvi and drinking the water is a reason for obtaining salvation of the hereafter. Brother Muhammad Naim Safdar, I would like to ask you, since you have an objection about certain waters rejecting the Wilayah, you believe, on the other hand, that according to your scholars, if you drink the water that's been washed from the feet of Ashraf Ali Thanvi, it will give you salvation. So the question is whether this water is sweet or bitter. Maybe the brothers can answer that question. I don't know.
I certainly can't answer that, and I'm not sure. I mean, with such holy feet, maybe the Ahmadis distribute it as a form of medication. I'm not sure. I mean, clearly that these holy feet are so blessed. I'm wondering whether either brother named Saftar or his acolytes in his madrasa days benefited from this holy water. In any case, we hope, brother named Saftar Saab, that you enjoyed today's gift and you enjoyed our refutation. Yet again, the theme of a liar which you've tried to mock is through narrations that are weak, we've addressed them. I think that suffices as a response. Thank you all for listening. Remember us in your du'as as we shall remember you. Assalamu alaikum.